Let me start by presenting myself. I started working in the asset management industry in 2000 in Paris. After that, I moved to Bahrain, which is situated, which I didn't know where it was. It's a small island in the Middle East, between Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Worked there for another asset management company, then moved with another third asset management company to Dubai. And after 18, almost 20 years in the asset management industry, and after being 10 years volunteer with CFA Society Bahrain, and then CFA Society UAE, which is UAE means Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and all the Emirates, I decided to leave the with-profit world to work for the non-profit world and joined CFA Institute. And I'm really very excited about it. It came at a moment, some people said you should wait to have more white hair to do this kind of job. And I said, I still have energy, I should use it now. So with no more delays, I will be very proud at the end of this presentation to share with you an initiative we've done when I was living in Bahrain. But before that, I want to give you just a few thinking points of how you can, each and every one of you, in your own country, city, and society, change. Don't get me wrong, you don't have to be part of CFA Institute or CFA Society to do what we're going to discuss. It helps to have the connections. Maybe it helps to get the financing, as you will discover later on. But at no point I want to give you the impression that you have to be part of the institute or the local society to achieve something. Each and every one of you, before you get lost later on by too much talks from myself, each and every one of you can change your life and the life of people around you. And I believe in one thing. If you want to do good, you will have lots of hands around you willing to help. I believe in this because I experienced it several times in my life. There is a French expression, send the lift back or down. So imagine we're all at different levels in our careers, like in a building. If I went to the 6th floor, it will be very selfish for me to retain the door of the lift. I should release the lift, and it's going to go down to the ground floor to lift someone to the 1st level or someone else to the 2nd level, etc. And it's nice to have neighbors within your career. It's nice to build that community by sending always back the lift. So remember, wherever you are in your career, and whether sending the lift back to some women to climb, some young to climb, and some maybe older people to climb, it always matters, because this good you're doing, call it karma, call it whatever, it's going to come back to you with some nice fruits that you can enjoy in your career. I believe in it. I even once advised someone to leave her job because it was too much working on the weekends. And I said, come, help us in the project that I'm going to explain later on, and you will find a job. And actually, I realized that I said too much. I said things that are not sure at all. I cannot guarantee that person that she will find a job. Actually, 6 months later, she was employed at Standard Chartered Bank in Bahrain. And she's so happy because her weekends are now for her to relax, to recharge the batteries, and start fresh on Sunday. Because we work on Sundays, but we don't work on Fridays. So let me start. Let's imagine, and please, I want this to be interactive, because otherwise I or you will fall asleep. So let it be interactive. Ask questions, suggest ideas, because this is what you are trying to do here, is to brainstorm about how you can come back to your own city, country, and change. Small changes that will help people change their lives. So how do you help the young talents? Let's imagine we are trying to help the young talents in our society, and how can we help them develop their careers? My first advice would be, build your team. Alone, you cannot do that much. You can have great ideas, but who's going to help you in the execution? We have an expression, one hand cannot clap. You need 2 hands to clap and more. So build your team, whether with a CFA society, maybe you are part of another society. Maybe you're a society of lawyers, society of engineers, society of accountants, society of alternative asset managers, etc., etc. Find a community where you belong and you are heard, so you can gather some volunteers around yourself and start an idea. And sometimes you start an idea and your idea is a bit weak. Don't worry, they'll help you to improve it. And I'll give you an example later on. My idea in the beginning was a bit different from what we achieved later on. So build your team. And by building your team, you know that volunteers tend to be young, tend to be millennials. Get them on board. They have crazy ideas. Don't worry. Crazy ideas, dreaming is exactly what got us electricity, what got us all these small tools. Someone was dreaming, like Victor Hugo, the French author. He didn't have a phone. He didn't have a video calling facility. He had a candle, and he was writing on the light of the candle, and he imagined the video conferencing. And as a kid, I was reading Victor Hugo, and I was like, this might be possible, because I looked, there was a TV in our room, and there was a phone. Remember those old phones when you have to turn all these things to dial a number? I said, this is possible. And today, you call your family from Canada, US, the Middle East, just with this video conferencing. So don't be afraid to hire volunteers. Of course, you're not going to pay them. You're not paid yourself. You're doing volunteering, pure volunteering. Hire the young ones. Bring them with you. They have dreams, and dreams will become innovation and inventions later on. So many inventions were just a dream. Somebody kept on trying maybe 150 times before we invented the lamps that you are using today. So build your network. There is an idea behind it called social intelligence. I'm sure you heard about emotional intelligence. Personally, I didn't use a lot of emotional intelligence in my career because I felt sometimes it was a bit fake. Like I would call my client, happy birthday, and he's like, I barely know you. Why are you wishing me happy birthday? Because it says in emotional intelligence that I have to be nice to you and ask you, how's your 2 years old? He's like, tell me exactly what's the pricing today, what do you have to offer me, because I just need to close this deal. I'll be like, okay. He knows that I'm fake. It's too bad. So some people succeed at emotional intelligence. Personally, I couldn't succeed at emotional intelligence. But with some clients who became friends later on, we've done business, and there's another problem. When you become too friends with someone, how do you want to make business later on? So I really benefited from something totally different that we call social intelligence, which is building your network. And an example about social intelligence was, there was a parcel in California. You all know California. You all know how long California, how far away is California from New York. There was a parcel in California on which we put the name of someone who lives in New York. And we just gave it to someone who was flying to New York. He said, take this to that guy. I said, I don't know him. Even if you don't know him, give it to someone who might know of him. And the parcel was around for 45 days, and it reached its destination. In nowadays, where normally a postman will say, this parcel cannot go anywhere else. I need the address, I need a phone number, I need full details. This is social intelligence. When you know of someone who might know of someone else, who might know of someone else, and then you get to your network. Remember what I said in the beginning. If you help, you'll get some help. And your network will extend to a size that you never dreamt of. So create your own network. Your network will connect to another network. This is why I said don't limit it to a certain body or a certain association. Extend it. Hire those volunteers who can bring ideas from other networks. And all of a sudden, your network is huge. Like a conference like today. Okay, I heard someone saying, why do you need it? Because in Ukraine, apparently everyone believes in diversity and it's working. It just created a network of 350 people. And I'm sure out of the 350 people, there will be a multiplier effect. Some people will go back home with those business cards, stay in touch, find ideas. Some people get inspired by some workshops, etc. Don't underestimate the fact of networking and creating your own social intelligence. How to bridge the gap with employers. So remember that case we are trying to solve all together. We need to employ fresh graduates. How do we bridge the gap with employers? Employers are, imagine, on the 10th floor, and fresh graduates are just trying to enter the building. It's so tough for them. They have no clue how it works. Even though you bring employers to speak, to train, etc., the gap is huge. But maybe an internship, thanks to your university. And I have to share with you some disappointment. I did visit lots of universities in my part of the world, and I sat with Dean of Finance, Dean of Investment Management, telling him, what are you doing for those fresh graduates? So they spent 3-4 years in university. They paid on average $50,000 to $60,000 to learn something. How are you helping them to find jobs? And he'd be like, jobs? That's not my function. He goes back to his contract. There's nothing written to find jobs. Thank you very much. Okay, at least give us access to your university. No, by law, I cannot give you access. I don't want the list of the names. I just want to send you an email that you can share with your students. No, I cannot do that. And my frustration was to the roof. I mean, I'm speaking with someone who gets paid at least $100,000 to $150,000 a year to train talents for the sake of what? Just training? Who in the room is a CFA charter holder? Or at least candidate? Okay, why did you enroll? Why are you a candidate or a charter holder? What was your aim at the beginning? What is a keyword? If you want to just give me one word.
Knowledge. Knowledge.
To do what with it later on? Sorry.
Monetize it.
Thank you very much. See, some people are courageous in the room. It's career. It's my career. When I sat for the CFA exam, I had like, okay, do you continue your PhD or do CFA? And each HR at that time said, if you want to write books, teach at university, it's PhD. If you want to work in the world, CFA, because it's in English, it's a passport. And that triggered something in my brain. Yes, I want this international passport because I know myself. I'm not going to stick to one country, one city, one company. Well, actually, at that time, I thought I'm going to work for my company for life, like in Japan, but it didn't work. So you grow your knowledge because you want to monetize it. Either become a teacher and teach other generations, or put it at work with your employer and improve your situation and the situation of your employer. But having someone heading a university, and I didn't go to history or geography, I went specifically to finance. What are you doing for your students to find jobs? It's like, jobs? It's not part of my mission. So this is where is the problem. How you want to bridge the gap and bring those fresh talents and put them within the hands of the employers. So at that time, with my team of volunteers, so everything I'm telling you is something I experienced myself with a team of volunteers. We're not yet here. There is no yet CFA Institute or CFA Society. How to bridge the gap with the employers? Give me ideas. How I make a fresh graduate appealing. Sorry?
Career center, student career centers.
So what do we do exactly in the student career center?
Oh God. No.
It's both ways.
Okay.
Again, we're brainstorming. There is no right answer. There is no wrong answer.
Isn't that actually a brainstorm? Because we have this in my college.
You have it in your college.
Yes, we have a student career center, and every student who wants to work or is interested or wants to, do whatever, can come to the career center, and they will direct him to potential employers. And a lot of employers fund the career center and look for talents there. So it's common practice in Croatia.
Excellent. So the employers are funding the career center. If I'm a fresh graduate in finance, I just go to the career center and tell them this is my CV.
Mm-hmm. And they'll say, okay, you can apply there. They're looking for this or they're looking for that. They even send us, they even send us, if somebody is looking to fill a position, they send us emails. Did send us 10 years ago, but,
Okay, that's great. Please.
There is also another option, competitions, student competitions, postgraduate competitions like CFA Research Challenge.
Research Challenge?
Yeah, Research Challenge.
Can you explain what's the Research Challenge, please?
Yeah, so CFA has so-called Research Challenge, which is a competition between students of the upper level of year, in their last years of education. And they are having a real-life research of a real company in the economy, they're writing investment research, and then they are competing in the teams, between the teams, and they are then judged and scored by the real investment professionals who are usually like CFA charter holders from real business. So this way, students are able to prove their knowledge in a real case, in a real business case, and usually those students that perform good during these competitions, they are able to faster to better get their job offer or internship in the companies that are tracking this kind of competition.
So it's a competition where teams from universities in the final year will come and present in front of everyone a research case, and the best team will win and compete globally, right? So it's done at the country level first, then a region, and then international level.
True.
Okay. How do you think this helps to bridge the gap? Lano, please, I need the microphone.
I put myself in the shoes of the employer because there is a kind of ambiguity or frustration. You have a lot of students, but you are not sure whether their knowledge, their skills, the things that they have learned in the university will be applicable to your real-life business case in the future, and whether you need to hire them. And usually when you hire a fresh graduate, you also have to invest pretty much in training them. Usually colleagues from work, more senior colleagues, are investing their time to coach them. So it's distraction of senior colleagues from their work. It's investment because you can even monetize or you can assess in real money. And if you have chosen a wrong person or a person who is not enthusiastic or is not willing to learn anymore, it can be the fact that you've just wasted your time and money, which is of precious value.
So here we have an idea where we are matching people who need CVs with people who have CVs, people who just graduated with employers who have vacancies. Now we have another idea, which is I come to showcase my capabilities of analyzing a company, giving it a price, recommending a sell, keep, or buy for your portfolio. So then the employers are like, okay, I'm going to hire maybe someone who has an idea about what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
We need more ideas. Oh, wow. Sorry, someone outside from the institute before. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Just want to share another idea and experience. I'm actually not from investment industry. I'm more from like analytics, IT industry. So we have an example when at Ukrainian university, there is a close cooperation with the university, and people from business, they taught some courses, both for students and also for teachers at university, and this is done on continuous basis. I personally have one course, so I work as a teacher at university, but also at private company. I did my personal course, which I taught to students, and also, another consequence from this is that we also have internships. So some students which you see on daily basis and you see they're interested in this subject, they can be directly put into the company, do some internship, and then can have some offer. Like this is like a real example. It's not like a huge company, so it's just few persons per year, but it's.
Congratulations, that's a great idea. So this idea started at least 30 years ago with the business schools. And this is why you would pay to enter a business school. At least I can give you the example in France. A business school would cost you between 30 to 50,000 euros a year, plus. This is why you pay to go to a business school and not go to the free university that's sponsored by the government. Have a great level of knowledge once you finish your studies, but you're not employable because you're too much theory and not too much practice. And experience. So this is a great idea, and the outcome was, or one of the positive consequences, that teachers were seeing in the classroom some next interns or internships to offer to these students, the brightest ones, to come and start a job. So that's a great idea we're going to retain. Please, yeah.
I actually represent the university here. I represent Kiev Могила Academy, and there are actually several suggestions on how professional societies like CFA can be helpful to education. First, you can do curriculum review with the professors, and advise what skills and knowledge should be achieved by students. One person said that you can come and lecture, you can come and do some practical workshops. And what is more important, it's very important to bring in faculty, academia to such events like this, because what people in the academia feel, that they do not have a real feeling of what is going on in the industries. And it's a pity when you approach professional conferences and ask, can you please give us some free seats for our faculty? They either say no or they keep silence, unfortunately. And it was a great pleasure for me to see one of our academics here, one of our professors from the universities, that this means that there is a connection. But the more there will be invitations for academics to such universities, the greater the student population will be.
Thank you very much. So back to what Maya said earlier, you are providing the supply and we are the demand. And the earlier we connect with supply, the better outcome we can have for our corporations. Because we can start brainstorming your students from the beginning. We want them to be asset managers, analysts, maybe go to audit. Maybe they will choose at the end. But at least we have this time that we gain where we start putting them in the exact orientation they want to go to. Let me do some publicity for CFA Institute. So something you can start with universities very early is like investment foundation. I'm studying geography, history, but I think I was made to go into finance. Okay, just go in a quick program called Investment Foundation. It's general knowledge about investments. If you like it, continue. That's your first step. Then continue climbing the steps. Some people say, I'm doing a BA in finance, I just finished, or investment management, or any kind of BA. And I think I want to do a long career in asset management. They enroll in the program. But that's a waste of time if there was no orientation from a professional who's already working in investment management, who can tell them, yes, I encourage you, or no, you're not made for that. Or actually, if you're working in audit and you're going to spend your whole life in audit, maybe there's no point of enrolling in the program and being not social for 3 years while you're studying for level 1, level 2, and level 3. So I did help some people in level 1 and level 2 because some people helped me in level 1 and level 2 for free in my first employer. And I used to tell them, do you really want to waste 3 years of your life studying for that? I'd be like, why are you saying that? You're supposed to push for it. I said, I'll never push for something that you're going to end up hating. If you're passionate about asset management, investment management, research, you're in equity, you want to learn more about fixed income and other asset classes, then yes, you should take the program. Because it's, let's say, the gold standard in education and also committing to the best ethical manners and to best practices in your market. So also you can tell people if you want to have a career in finance and you think finance is all about driving sports cars and having villas in front of a lake or a beach, etc., you're in the wrong industry. We say that. Maybe others are pushing this idea. But they're becoming minority, crisis after crisis, trust me. So it all starts as university. And I'm happy to see universities behaving like business schools did behave a while. A dean of finance, again, it still shocks me, saying jobs? Then why did I go to university? I heard someone saying earlier this morning to get married. No, there are websites now and applications. So it's a wrong misconcept. Why do I go to university? What I'm going to do in the near future when universities will tend to disappear as like a huge concrete piece of concrete and will become studying from home, learning from home. What are we going to do about it? We'll not find husbands and wives? So university is because you want to work somewhere. You want to start a career. It starts at university. Otherwise, you're taking money for nothing. So again, I feel the frustration of lots of generations who studied something and never did anything about it. My aunt hates the whole educational system because she studied tourism, history and geography, and she never practiced that. There was no orientation. We look at your grades, like my sister, we forced her to go into medical science and to become a doctor. She loved French literature. Nobody listened to her. She stopped her studies and went to La Sorbonne and became a PhD in French literature. What a waste of time. 4 years doing medical science and hating it. But because of the grades, you become a doctor. Because of the grades, you become a lawyer. Because of you speak well, you become a lawyer. I hope there are no lawyers today. You are one. Sorry, Safia. You are good in geometry, you should be an engineer. You are good in numbers, you should be going into finance and this and that. That's not the right way about it. I know some people who know nothing about numbers and became asset managers, and they're managing stocks. And there is a way to go around numbers and master how do you deal with numbers and how you love numbers, because they'll help you to get to your career. Somebody wanted to ask a question, yeah.
Maybe it is worth to take time after college before university to practice yourself on very low position at some industry, decide finally that this profession is good for you, and then go up through university?
Exactly, and this is why now you have some students who go to employers and say, I want to try working for you. And the employer said, I don't have a budget for you. I say, I work for free. I know in Abu Dhabi, some people who are paid to stay at home because they couldn't find a job, and Abu Dhabi has enough money to pay them, maybe less and less nowadays. But think about it. This is an oil-rich country. Because I couldn't find a job, I can stay at home and get paid something like $6,000 a month. If I'm single, if I'm married, you multiply by 3. But still they came and said, listen, you still pay me the money because I need to pay for my expenses and everything, but put me in one of the companies. You own half of that bank. Put me there. And the guy was like, but they're not hiring. I don't care. I want to help for free because I'm paid already by the government. So this finishing university and sitting at home becomes a disease that lots of young people want to get over. So by working, they get exposed. They start their social network. Remember the social intelligence? You kickstart it. You stay at home on social media, you destroy your social network. Because actually you didn't visit someone when you just liked their picture in Malta this summer. You didn't visit them. You didn't talk with them. You didn't discuss things with them. How many times in our careers, and people who are already working, how many times you did business just because you opened up your heart and spoke about your problems at work and constraints and difficulties? I got lots of business just by opening up and discussing matters with people. It's like, I know of someone who's interested, etc., etc. So building that network starts by just going out of your comfort zone, finishing university, and putting yourself, rubbing shoulders with employers, even for free. As an employer, I would immediately hire you if you say, I want to work for free. I'll do this. I'll play the game. And for like 6 months, I'll test you. Are you serious? Are you hardworking? Are you helping me advance my company? Then, if I'm fair, I should hire you and give you a salary. So somebody mentioned, yeah, you mentioned about like employers want to have some insurance about, are you a hard worker? Are you willing to put the hours, etc.? And some jokes on the internet now are like, in a job interview, do you have a network? Yes, I have Facebook, WhatsApp, and Twitter. People think that they are already active and they have their own network if they are present on social media. Any other ideas? Maybe the lawyer wants to say something.
Yeah, sorry. I had this one. Maybe our experience as lawyers is different because we have never credibility before we pass the exam. So how we learn to become lawyer is to be the shadow of another lawyer. And there is no way for you to masterize your own material if you don't learn with someone. Because the code is always there. You open the code, you read, there is the article, etc. But this is not the job. The job is all around reading the article and make it meaningful to your client and finding solution and all of that. So I do believe that because my brother is also a doctor, so these two kind of profession are very are very strongly focusing on learning with your peers, because you learn a lot with the books, but never as much as you learn with your people. Your dominus, as we said in Latin, the one that is going to guide you through the process of becoming a lawyer or a doctor or whatsoever. And I do believe that in the past, if we think about it, a lot of professions were taught in a way whereby you had a relationship, a very intimate relationship with your master. He will give you what he knows, and so you can take over when he's not there anymore. And I think in many area of universities, this particular item is left aside, and I would never choose another material. I like law, but I made the choice to become a lawyer because I wanted to be efficient, and I don't regret it. Even if one day I change my job, I acquired a value that I could use all my life, and I like to share this knowledge with other people. So I think we said this a lot in English: sharing is caring, caring is sharing. So maybe this motto would help a lot of financial interested people to actually step in and be happy in their career. Even if it's not a corporation, how do you say, a body of, comment on nous appelle, nous? An association, yes. So for me, apprenticeship is very, very important, and that makes people real and sure of themselves.
Okay, let me answer the question. What is your mission when you become a lawyer? So you studied with someone, you graduated, and you become an apprentice if you accept the designation. Before becoming a lawyer, you have to train with a senior lawyer or a reputable lawyer. What is the mission of a lawyer? What do lawyers do for the society?
Like, you mean my job, or no, in general what we are committed to do?
When you went to register to become a lawyer, to study and then to become a lawyer, what was the idea behind it?
You become a minister of law. Okay. You allow people to have appropriate advice and ensure defense. And this is the commitment you make, because when you become a lawyer, you have a lot of principle behind. For example, if you are practicing at the court and you are registered, then you can't really refuse any client. You need to be able to offer the same level of professional services to all your clients. And this is very, very important.
So you started studying and then training to defend people. But my perception of lawyers is that they are making lots of money. People who make lots of money.
Magari, I hope I would not be here.
So this is the difference between Hollywood and reality. If I watch too many movies on Hollywood and Al Pacino, etc., my perception of lawyers is that people can do anything to get anyone out of jail or to make a corporation win a lawsuit case, etc., etc., etc. What in America? Because Hollywood is in the US. What's the perception of a financial advisor?
Has a lot of money.
Driving sports cars,
Lamborghini,
sailing the world, having villas in all these beautiful destinations. How come? Sorry?
And a lot of headache at night.
Oh yeah. Why? Why is the headache? Please keep the mic. Why the headache?
Well, you have to keep all numbers of all your clients, not to mess up, and to give a proper advice.
Tell me the real reason.
Pardon?
Tell me the real reason. If I have sports cars, if I have nice villas in Spain and in Italy,
you can get suited. In America, you can get suited that you got it all in some sort of illegal way.
Thank you. Why you never question your doctors?
We do.
You do. It's starting. The doctor is advising you about your health. So there's a big risk if you don't follow their prescription. And don't get me wrong, they're very respected human beings, and they like you. They swear to treat everyone for free for life. and get into people in need and help them. The perception of society, let's say in the US and other countries, is that if you don't have money, you can die on the front of the doors of the hospital. Let's go back to the financial advisors. Why do we question them? Because they're managing our wealth. We should not die if they do a mistake with our wealth. But why would they do a mistake with our wealth? We trusted them to take us from point A. Normally, why do you need a financial advisor? You're at point A in your career. Let's say this is time. Let's say this is money. So you're here. You just started your career. Why do you need financial advisors? You can do it your own. You have computers. You can. When I started my career, there was the bubble for the technology. And the guy who was fixing my sink and the tap was like, "Did you buy Liberty Surf?" I was like, "Don't tell me you have it." He said, "Of course. Liberty Surf is booming. Buy it now before it's too late." The stock went from nothing to 75 euros. I just asked him one question, and he burst on me. "You're ignorant. You don't know anything about finance." I said, "Yeah, you're right. I'm just writing a thesis, but you're right. I don't know anything about finance." I asked him, "What does Liberty Surf do?" It's actually just a website. They were just doing publicity. But excuse my ignorance, if you go onto their website, flashy lights, just the start of the tech bubble, flashy lights, advertisements, you think there's a company behind it. And we knew the guy who invented it. He sold the shares, he bought a beautiful flat on the Champs-Élysées Avenue because he knew that trees will not reach the sky. Sometime there will be a call, a wake-up call that will wake up the whole investors. From 2 euros, it went to 75, it reached 110 before the company went busted. Because it was just a website with some engineers every day sending you some beautiful messages about how business is doing great with Liberty Surf. And it was just a provider of internet connections. So they're the devil and the angel at the same time. They give you the internet connection, you connect yourself, and they start promoting stuff on their website. Why would I pay 110 euros for something that's just, it's like a newspaper, just a facade. So I don't know what happened to the savings of my guy, but I felt sorry when the company went bankrupt, when the guy started buying big assets, and I don't know. Anyways, you are supposed to start your career here and do some savings, and in the future, make sure to pay for your pension, maybe the studies of your kids, because you want them to go to very good business schools. And maybe, in case you're unemployed, you want at least something here to pay you a return when you're unemployed. I'm young, my probability of being unemployed is low, but later in my career I might have a problem, an accident, and then I need something. Well, some governments in Europe and in the developed world can take lots of taxes from you to offer you this. But let's imagine you're starting here. How can you get there? You need someone who knows how to get there. You need someone who's going to give you discipline to get there. All of this is not doable if you don't have trust. And this gets me back to the lawyers, to the doctors, and to the financial advisors, to the asset managers, to the analysts, to everyone. An analyst can tell you to buy a stock because he was invited to a lavish 7-day resort in Miami by the company who's behind the stock and who want to get rid of some stocks. By you saying buy the stock, they get rid of those stocks. So if we don't have the trust, this profession will disappear. So there is no need to go to universities and study finance anymore. Another crisis of trust, and we don't need to study finance anymore. We put robots, we give them the whole curriculum, and they start executing. Based on your risk appetite, based on your level of wealth, based on your salary, how much you can save from that salary, they'll put everything in the machine and get there. So I don't really need a financial advisor to get from point A to B, C, and D, and to reach goals. This is why you need to tell your students that if they want to become financial advisors, they want to work in finance, they should start from now, inspire trust, and work on building that trust. And they can build it through 30 years of career and waste it in 1 second with a scandal, with a wrongdoing. And they know that they're doing wrong, and this is what you mentioned earlier, they cannot sleep at night. So people having this kind of lavish lifestyle, thanks to this system, because they know what others do not know, and those people trusted them, they wasted that trust. I'll stop here about this. I don't want to scare everyone about the finance and asset management industry. But it was worth stopping at it. How to bridge the gap with employers, we mentioned it. How to convince and bring stakeholders all together. So I heard the word mentoring from you. Like, it's good if within the society here you have some mentors who go to universities, give presentations, bring university students to your conference. Anyways, they're not going to come. So you're not wasting tickets. Anyways, they will not pay and come to your conference. So keep some free passes. Make some employer pay for those. Employers always come and say, I want to sponsor a CFA event in your city. Great. Can I use the money the way I want? And say, okay, what's your way? And I'm going to invite the university to attend the event. Okay, if you think it's helpful, do it. Find mentors and sponsors. Then you can, I give here an example of CFA Society. It might be another community, maybe the Lawyers Association, where you get young people who want to become lawyers one day to start training. The CFA Institute and the employers. The CFA Institute, there is an affiliation program with universities that you can tie up your university with CFA that recognizes your program and also will do presentations and explain the program. And of course, invite your employers to your events. Okay, how do you feel? Do you want to break up into groups and do some work? Or you're fine checking your phones and watching the guy talking and moving? What do you think? What shall we do?
Let's do some activity.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, don't laugh. I'm going to read the cases for you. But you are group 1. Because I think you're less... I need 3 groups. But we will form the groups. Don't worry. No worries. Case 1. You live in country called Recessionistan, and you need, I said don't laugh, and you need to help the fresh graduates find jobs. Please work on a project that will help them find jobs. So that's your case 1. Group 2, it's you, okay? You live in Misogynistan, and you notice that women are not a priority when it comes to entering the labor market. Please work on a project that will help them have equal chances to find jobs. Okay? So you have this pepperboard for group 2 to start putting down ideas, and I need one person to come and present at the end. I need one person to come and present at the end. Okay? Group 3, you are the dean of the business school in Robostan and noticed high levels of unemployment with the human population. Please create a project that will help young humans find jobs and enter the marketplace. So this is an economy dominated by robots, and you need to help humans to find jobs again. So that's group number 3. Okay? From this group, you have a choice to join 1, 2, and 3. Okay? And please designate a speaker from now.
I want the robots.
We don't have that much time, so start. We don't have that much time. Start putting your ideas on the board. Designate someone who's going to write the ideas. Yeah, you have a recession. This one, yeah.
Does the name of the country mean
No. Recessionistan. They have recession.
Do we have a recession or we do not have a recession?
It's not your country. It's on planet Mars.
So
Mars.
the name is not about recession in that country.
You have a recession. You need to help young talents find jobs. Yeah, definitely. You're right. You have a recession. You have a recession. You need to find the young ones, help the young talents get jobs. Because normally in recession you employ people with experience, not talent.
Write the ideas down and then vote. Enough time so that we
So as a dean, what's your proposal? Yes.
analyze like our
Do you will speak?
It means that in the labor market, there are different groups of unemployed people who are striving for jobs, right? So our group is fresh graduates who basically are competing with other unemployed groups, right? Juniors who have some piece of labor experience, seniors. We should concentrate probably on how to.
maybe
So are these new areas? Our first idea is new areas we work.
Identify the areas.
also maybe we can introduce into school curriculum, like you have to have, every exam you take graded, but also in addition, at the end of every year, you have to take student practice at firm, any firm, whichever you want, and then you have to have it to finish the year, academic year. So you have to do the, 2 weeks.
And a small internship.
Well, actually, it's student internship. It's not. Okay. Yeah, something like that being obligatory after every year of academic. And you can get points.
So teach them and some stuff.
You mean like what you said is that majority of the where the human hand are the one that we talk about
while some senior representatives already advise means that they have a less network. Maybe some cooperation between international cooperation universities, so there's a university in other countries talk to our university and help to find. Yes, maybe help to find a job in other countries, job with our employee in the country with
or you could crowdfund.
very innovative.
Creating format, so it's more developing women
skills so that they can start their own job or for example tell them about some freelance jobs
Another 10 minutes. When you come back, I'll start again.
Students, so basically a place where young students can set up their own business.
maybe some financial coaching actually. Goes like only young students struggling for money and why they for a flat for food for everything. They don't have money, so I find the job for they need some financial support. So maybe like be encouraging employers like maybe some grant programs, maybe some just terms. You may be encouraged by the money. If that's like simple example, but
also think about self-employment.
if you're a teacher, then you
Unemployment problem is that the people also get some money.
find a research grant
The country and paychecks.
You can also also organize workshops on how to write a CV,
How to write a CV. Workshops regarding workshops for job hunt, job search. Communication strategy to on CV.
Advertisement of
maybe calling a businessman to, I don't know, to hold guest lectures on the university. So
You're a teacher.
lectures from politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to work in between the teacher and the student.
Yes.
No, she's not human. She's powerful.
Keep in mind that during the recession there are no new jobs. So,
If you work as a teacher, probably you can become like a lead, something like the assistant and me, like the new one.
but the supply of the new jobs is very low.
There are like entrepreneurship courses or help to set up own business.
Even during the recession, the government is looking at how to provide services and value. So you could, students could set up, their own start, their incubator of governmental support systems or programs to go out and teach skills or support and teach humanity.
Yeah, so set up the civil service program for human because civil service always has
Civil service what?
civil service
Support.
no.
Financial help?
No. It's about attracting people to work for the civil service. Public
sector,
It's called civil service.
Would you try to
maybe if you don't have much like vacant places, maybe we can hire people while they are reaching big one, maybe 50 years. Like when they're 50, you can see their complete or 45, and we have a place for me as a freshman.
pensions? Then the pension system crashes.
Okay. What about qualifications? Explore qualifications, like additional in addition to that, twice to you do vocational qualification, they start charging to like studying diversify skill sets. Well, it's basically empowering women to be more responsible, be bolder, and apply for any type of job.
That's probably happened because just summarize
Flexible childcare. Yes, you.
I think you should do it. You should do it, and we're going to help you.
Okay.
Provide psychological therapy. Like.
Only.